Yes, folks, another Boris Johnson video. Well, to be honest, what else could I talk about? It's the main story, and this story will keep going until he's finally gone. I don't think he will last until the autumn, when they're predicting he has to stay to be like a caretaker prime minister until whoever wins the Conservative leadership vote is installed as the prime minister. Because even John Major has written to the 1922 committee and told them, you can't let him do this, it's just insane. Now, I am disappointed Boris has gone in a way because I'm more disappointed in the man. I mean, imagine winning a general election in this country and having a huge thumping majority in Parliament, and you can use that majority to do literally whatever the hell you want. But he blew it. The Tories blew it. And in less than 3 years, it's all come crashing down. So many promises, and just none of them materialised. And he lied to us all. He did have some good ideas. It was just poor execution, or they just didn't materialise. And yes, everybody wanted him out, from the mainstream media to Twitter to Labour, even some of his own party, despite the fact that he won the first round of confidence votes. And personally, I think this whole mess could have been avoided if, after David Cameron resigned, the Conservative Party actually picked up the mood of the nation, the majority, the 17 point whatever million people who voted for Brexit and won, and installed a Brexiteer who believed in Brexit, who backed the Brexit campaign from day one. But they didn't. They chose Theresa May, and the rest is history. Theresa May is and was a Remona. She campaigned for the Remain campaign from the start, and her heart wasn't in it. So when she said Brexit means Brexit, it was bullshit. So she resigned. And then Boris Johnson popped up. Now, the thing is with Boris Johnson is his lies caught up with him. He told too many porkies. Even during the referendum campaign, the night before the Brexit vote, he wrote 2 speeches. One pro-Brexit and one pro-staying, just in case whoever won. So he wasn't really to be trusted that way. And then you had Partygate, and then you had Rishi Sunak. Now, whoever thought of putting Rishi Sunak as Chancellor of the Exchequer needs their heads checking. Because the guy was married to a millionairess so rich she was wealthier than the Queen. He helped her to avoid paying taxes in this country, which coincidentally he was perfectly placed to do. And he gave away billions of British taxpayer as free money during the plague lockdown. And then there was the plague lockdown. It was just completely unnecessary, mismanaged, and destroyed businesses and nearly ruined the economy. And by the way, the billions that Rishi Sunak gave some members of the British public to stay at home, the taxpayer will never get that back. There is no way of getting it back, and people who applied for it and got it have no intention of giving it back. It's basically theft, and Rishi Sunak allowed it to happen. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he was a holder of a United States green card during the first couple of months of him being Chancellor. Now that's dodgy as fuck. And then the last straw was the bum pincher, of course. Then you had the untenable green policies pushed onto him by his upper middle class, out of touch, green climate change wife, Carrie Johnson. And had he implemented those green policies, it would have hit the British taxpayer really hard in the pocket. Let's get one thing straight, folks, about green policies. They're expensive, and the only people who can afford them are the middle classes and above, and that's it. The ordinary working man and woman on the street, or whatever the hell you identify as, will never ever pay £8 for organic, free-range chicken when there's a £3 one on the shelf right next to it. It's never going to happen. And that brings me to the cost of living crisis, another thing they mismanaged. The Conservatives, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, they had the power to significantly reduce or just get rid of VAT off the price of fuel. They allowed it to get this high. And the cost of everything else as well. They've done nothing to help ordinary families try and endure all this bollocks. And it's nothing to do with Brexit, by the way. There is no evidence that the cost of living crisis is because of Brexit. I'd say it's more with the lockdown than Brexit, but there you go. And interestingly, and more embarrassing really for this country, he is the 3rd successive Conservative Prime Minister to have to resign, be pushed out. Well, David Cameron had to, didn't he, after Brexit. Brexit was a hit job designed to nip Nigel Farage and UKIP in the bud, but that backfired significantly. So he had to go. Theresa May resigned. Boris Johnson's just resigned. So who are we going to get next? Well, whoever the mainstream media and Twitter are slinging mud at, simply because they are too conservative or conservative, and they're Brexiteers who back Brexit from the start. These are the people who will get attacked, so it's more than likely, for our sakes, that these are the people we need as Prime Minister. Make no bones about it, folks, this Boris Johnson resignation was a hit job, was a witch hunt to get him out of office. But sadly, he just gave everyone too much ammo, and they fired it against him. Now, love him or hate him, it did get his Brexit done, albeit a watered-down, weak Brexit, and he didn't put England in as stringent a lockdown as the Scots under wee Jimmy Cranky Nicola Sturgeon did, or the guy with a melted welly face who's in charge of Wales at the moment. So be grateful that Boris Johnson saw sense there. And so to finish, unless the Conservatives pick someone like Thatcher or Trump, a patriotic, true blue Conservative who believes in Brexit and will stand up to the bullies in Brussels, the EU, and take no shit from the left and Twitter, then I simply won't be voting for them. And that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you glad he's gone? Or do you wish he'd stayed? Which party of the so-called Conservative Party? And I say that because they're basically socialists. They are wealthy champagne socialists in blue suits and blue ties. But which one of them would you like to see replace Boris Johnson? Please let me know. And remember, keep a close eye on who the mainstream media and social media, Twitter especially, are aiming their knives for. Because I bet you good money right now that they will be vouching for the candidate who wants a return to a lockdown, a more stringent lockdown, a more draconian lockdown, and someone who was never a Brexiteer but wants to be back in the EU. So let's hope the Tories or the 1922 committee, whoever chooses the next leader, makes the right choice. And that's that. So until my next video, Roger Trout.